Hey gorgeous, welcome to Sunshine and Rosie, your new favourite cozy nook where we're going to talk everything from spiritual growth, cultivating a positive mindset, to discussing all the juiciness that this world has to offer. Basically, I want to show you how incredibly fascinating you are as a human and give you all my nuggets so that you can confidently embody your most chaotically beautiful self. So no matter what shitstorm the world is throwing at you, know that I'll always be that little sunshine in your pocket. God, that's so cheesy. Right, let's go. Hello. So this is going to be a little bit of a different episode. It's going to be a personal story, insight into what I'm currently going through. And yeah, I have this on video this time, so maybe we will see more video going forward. But yeah, I currently just kind of want to share what I'm going through at the moment, and how I'm managing to deal with it, and how just proof it is that when you do this work, when you can learn to regulate your nervous system and expand its capacity, when you can work with your beliefs and fight through those limiting beliefs and build a relationship with yourself that's so fucking solid, and you have trust and belief in yourself, how you can navigate tough times in life, or stressful moments. And there is multiple versions of me that are so fucking proud of how I've been dealing with the last 2 weeks. And so I just want to share that. So my current situation, I'm currently sitting on a beautiful couch in a friend's house that she has so graciously allowed me to stay in while I am currently looking for an apartment. So my lease ran up at the start of this month, 1st of May. And I am flying back to Ireland on the 14th of May for 2 weeks. So I have got, today's the 8th, I have got 6 days to find my next apartment. And it's been fucking stressful, to say the least. Yeah, it's been stressful. So where do I even begin? I guess this could even be a two-parter, because I need to go back and tell you the whole story about the connections I've made here and how fucking fortunate and lucky I am to have such beautiful connections here so far in the city. And having a friend that has allowed me, given me her apartment while she's away traveling, while I find my next apartment, which I'm so fortunate to have. So I guess the first part of this episode, or of this two-parter, is going to be all about receiving help and how to receive help and being okay with receiving help. Because if you're listening to this and if you're anything like me, I've never been good at receiving help. Because again, there's this stigma and there's this conditioning around receiving help that it is a weakness, and it's, from me anyway, in my childhood and growing up and everything, it was always looked as a weakness. And if you asked for help, you were a burden, or people pitied you, or there was so much shame and guilt around asking for help and receiving help. And so the last 2 weeks I've had to receive help from two incredible friends connections that I've made here in this city. And it wasn't easy, but it was a lot easier than the last few times. Now, granted, I've asked for help multiple times in my life. It gets hard, and it gets easier as you ask it, but it's very always uncomfortable, and you always have that feeling of being a burden, or the shame and this guilt around the whole receiving of help. And about a month ago, so when I started kind of the process of looking for my apartment and finding my next home, Louisa, a beautiful girl that I met here, she was telling me that she's going away for the month of May, and that if I've, as a plan B, as a backup plan, that her apartment is here and that I am more than welcome to stay while I find my place, which I was extremely fucking grateful for. And as soon as she brought this opportunity to me, like, initially, obviously, I was so grateful, but there was that voice in my head that was like, oh God, I really hope that I find a place before it and I don't have to take her up on her offer, because in my mind, I just didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to, I just didn't want to be a burden. There was that little voice in my head that was like, oh God, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing about asking for help or receiving help from someone is that they are choosing to help you. It's their choice. It's their choice. So you can sit there and you can be like, oh my God, I'm such a burden. I'm taking up space. Oh my God, they must pity me. They must feel so much shame. I should feel so much shame around this or guilt around this or blah, 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 blah. No, that judgment's coming from you. And actually being able to give help. Just take a moment and think of a time where you were able to give somebody help, where you were able to help somebody out, where you were able to help a friend or a family member or someone close to you, and how good that felt to help someone. Because that's what we want to do as human beings. We want to be able to help others and put our hand out and help whoever's behind us. And it feels so good, and it's a fucking gift to be able to give help and to be able to receive it. And so anyway, she gave me this option. I was like, fantastic. I'll have that as my backup, but I don't even want to consider it right now because I just want to find my own place. And so we continued searching and we looked at apartments, and it's just a tough market. It's a tough market all over the world to try and find an apartment. And I want to make this place my home, and I want to finally have a solid base for the first time in my life and not think about having to pack up my bags in a year or move or anything like that. And so, yes, I may be a little bit picky when it comes to my choices, but also I have every right to be, and my standards are my standards. So anyway, we continued searching for the apartments, and it was coming towards the end of, it was last week, and I was spending the week just fucking over and back looking at apartments, panicking and kind of been like, okay, fuck, time is ticking, crunch, crunch, crunch. Let's just have plan B in place. Okay. And so I reached out to Louisa and I double checked that I could stay here, and she was more than happy to. And here's the thing. Here's a beautiful thing with connections and friendships. And as you grow and as you do the work and as you have a better understanding of yourself, like the more you love and respect yourself and trust yourself, and the deeper you get in knowing yourself and conversations and all of this, you start attracting people on that fucking level. You start attracting people that respect you on the level you respect yourself, that love you on the level you love yourself. Because you got to remember, this world that you are experiencing is just a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself and how you look at yourself. And sometimes that's kind of hard to hear because the majority of us don't really look at ourselves in a good way. And hands up, guilty as charged, because that was me for the majority of my life. But when you start to just deepen that connection, you attract people like that. And I can't describe how fucking lucky I've been in the last couple of years, but since moving to this city in particular, shit's crazy. With the people I've been connected with. I literally ask for somebody. I'm like, oh God, I would love this so-and-so person to come into my life. And then within weeks, somebody pops into my life that like ticks all those boxes. And so anyway, I met Louisa. And the thing is with this connection as well, we've only hung out a handful of times, but it's one of those friendships. Again, it's one of those connections that when you meet instantly, there's just already a baseline of connection and understanding and deeper conversations and all of that. And that's what I found with Louisa. And I'm so fucking grateful. But anyway, so she offered her place. And this is her place. And it's fucking gorgeous. She has created such a beautiful home. She owns this place. She has put her magic all over it. Like the second you walk through the door, it's like a hug. Everything is like nicely lit and there's mustardy, yellowy colors everywhere. And you just feel like you've been hugged the second you walk through the door. So anyway, I came to the decision that I was going to take Louisa up on her offer of staying in her apartment. And current me knows that I am so privileged to have somebody to offer me this opportunity. I'm so grateful to have her in my life. I know that I am not a burden. She's not looking at me as a burden. She's looking at me as a friend who needs help, and she has the privilege of giving me help. Currently, right now, here, sitting here, knows that. But in saying that, there is a part of me, there's still a little version of me that is stuck to the narrative that you're a burden. You're going to take up space. Like, oh God, it's so shameful. Why can't you just get your shit together and have an apartment sorted? Like, why do you have to take this offer off somebody? You know, this narrative that we all have in our heads from our younger versions of ourselves. But because of the work that I do, and because I do inner work, and because I know my patterns and what these fucking thoughts mean, I'm able to distinguish and be like, okay, that's a little younger version of me. We're just going to comfort her, and I'm going to let her know that this is completely fine, that we are completely safe in all these situations. So I was packing up and getting my stuff together, and I realized, I was just like, oh, another reason why I wanted to find a place before taking this apartment was I didn't want to move all my shit up to this apartment. This is a beautiful apartment, but it's on like the third or fourth floor, I think. No elevator and tiny little fucking corridors. And I was like, oh my God, the thought of having to move all my shit up to this apartment, and not even just moving it, like that hassle, but like I was like, oh, it's one thing having me stay at your apartment, but bringing my fucking life with me. I was just like, I don't want to do that. So anyway, cut to another incredible person that I've met so far in the city, Saskia. And this is one of those magical stories because at the start of this year, I don't know if you've listened to previous episodes, but on my vision board, on my goals list, I was like, I want to create retreats this year. I see myself holding retreats or hosting events. It's in my vision. I know what's happening, and I see it happening for myself this year. I want to make it happen this year. So I put it on the fucking vision board. But I was like, I don't want to do it on my own. I'm sick of doing all of this on my own. I mean, like, Miss Independent, yay, great, that's fantastic. But like, I would love to have a partner in this. I would love to have somebody to just work with, two minds, just like, you know, with all these incredible ideas, and just not having all the pressure and everything on me. And also, when you work with somebody, you push yourself a little bit more, because you're not just letting yourself down, you're not just slowing yourself down, it's a team. So I said that at the start of the year. I was like, I'd love to just meet somebody who would love to host retreats with me, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, very random story, but some girl put up on a post, I think on Facebook, on a community community group that I'm in here in the city in Porto. And she put up something about like how she wants to get more into mindfulness stuff and something. And I had commented under it being like, same, me too. I actually have some really exciting plans for events and stuff that I could do here in the city around these topics. And then Saskia saw that message, and she ended up just randomly messaging me on Facebook about this, saying that she would like to host retreats. I didn't know. I thought she maybe had experience in it. And I was like, oh my God, incredible. Let's meet for a coffee. So we met for a coffee. And instantly it was like, it was just like incredible. Like, we sat down, and the two of us just straight away, it was like all these ideas, all these concepts, all these possibilities, potentials, events, all this magic, just like word vomiting out of both of us. And so much so that I don't actually think we introduced ourselves on our first coffee meetup, which is probably partially my fault, because ADHD brain and all my ideas, I just had to get them out. But it was just a beautiful connection, and we have so much exciting stuff planned. And we both kind of think the same, and we both have incredible creative brains. And it just seems to click and work so well together. We actually have our first little event happening this weekend, just kind of like a little soft opening to get people to know us. But very, very exciting. Anyway, again, very fresh new friendship. I've only met up with the girl maybe a handful of times. But again, like I said, when you have a deeper understanding of yourself, and when you do the work and you fucking have a better relationship with yourself, you then attract people on that level. You attract people on that fucking level. And that's what I've been doing, baby. So again, I was coming to her with my issues at the moment with trying to find accommodation or rent an apartment and just like the stress of it and blah, blah, blah. And without even thinking, she also offered that I could stay with her. Now, she lives 45 minutes outside the city. So, I mean, again, extremely grateful and would love the opportunity, but it makes a lot more sense for me to just stay in the city. So anyway, I was telling her that I was like, oh, I've got a place here, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I just have all my stuff now. And again, without me even fucking speaking the next sentence, she was like, you can store it at my house. And I was like, oh my God. She was like, yeah, no problem. Like, I can bring some of your stuff and you can store it at my house until you find an apartment. And I was just like, oh, like such a beautiful soul. And just to completely offer up like that. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. That would just be like a weight lifted off my shoulders. So she offered to help me without even second guessing or thinking about it. And I was like, great. So I went off and I started packing up half my apartment and I packed up a few bits to give to her. And the whole time I'm packing, I'm like so grateful for all of this. But then at the same time, there's that little voice in my head that's like, oh my God, you're going to have so much stuff. Like, what the fuck? Like, are you seriously going to give her that much stuff to take? Like, seriously. Or the whole idea of like, oh my God, like, I'm so grateful that like, she's going to pull up in her car and like load her car up with all my shit. And I'm not going to be there at the other side when she gets to her house to help her unload it. And I was like, I hope it's not taking up so much room in her house and all of this, like all these silly fucking little naggy things that are pointless. Right. But again, because of the work that I do and the awareness that I have during these little bubbles of panic, I'm able to zoom out and I'm able to see the bigger picture and I'm able to see that like, this is a tip. If you can't find yourself in that moment of like those little inner narratives just putting you down and making you feel bad about a situation or blah, 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 or you're inconveniencing someone or you feel like you're being a burden or whatever it is, zoom the fuck out and switch places. Because as soon as I zoomed out and saw the bigger picture and like relax the fuck, it's a couple of suitcases. She's offered to hold him in her house. It's not that fucking big a deal, you know? But secondly, if I was to switch shoes and I had a place and I had a friend that needed help, I wouldn't even think twice without offering that help. And when I'm loading the stuff into the car and I'm unloading the stuff out of the car, I'm not thinking, fucking silly bitch, look at all the stuff she has, like fucking taking up the room in my apartment. No. Because again, remember, I've made the choice to help somebody. Because whoever's helping you is making the choice to help you. It is a gift at the end of the day. Remember that. And because if I was in her shoes, I wouldn't think twice. I would just be happy that I can take some stress off a friend. That I can be that little shoulder to lean on while they're going through something. And that's exactly how she made me feel, but also how I was like, that's the situation. That's the only way I'm going to look at this situation. Why am I overthinking and overcomplicating everything else? And so anyway, again, I was kind of worried about like the amount of stuff I had. I didn't have that much stuff, but I just worried about it. Anyway, she pulls up in her car, loads my stuff in, not even questioning. She was like, I could have probably fitted way more stuff in her car, to be honest. And she was just so sweet and everything. And off she went with my stuff. And now my stuff is at her house. And then again with Louisa moving to her place, I was like, I packed up all my stuff. I cleaned the apartment. I'd seen the pile of stuff that I have. Again, I didn't have that much stuff, but I'm looking at the stuff and I'm like, oh my God, is this too much? Like, should I be carrying this much stuff? I hate to be a burden, blah, blah, blah. All this little narratives going on in my head. And I took a picture of it. And here's the thing. Once you do this work and once you get familiar with your patterns and the patterns of overcoming limiting beliefs and working through your triggers and all of this, you start to notice your pattern and you're more aware of it. And you're so much so that like, you know, when something bad happens to you, okay? When shit seems like it's going wrong in the moment, yeah, it fucking seems like it's going wrong, you know? But how many times have you looked back and seen a thing that you thought was going wrong and be like, oh, actually, I'm so fucking happy that went that way, because if it didn't go that way, then I wouldn't have got this thing. So it's actually, everything's working out. Everything's going in the right way. And I have that belief, I have that faith. So where is I going with this? Things are going wrong. Oh yes, I'm being tested. So because of the work I'm doing and because of my awareness I have, I'm able to almost see these tests in real time, which is so fucking fun. It lights me the fuck up when I catch myself in the middle of a test, because I'm like, okay, we're passing this test with flying colors. So during this whole process, when I'm looking for apartments, they keep falling through, things just keep happening. I'm like, I'm supposed to receive this help. I am meant to receive this help in order to get a deeper, another level of just, oh, great. I'm getting a call from my realtor. But we'll wait and see. So where was I? Yes, I was being tested. Okay, I'm being tested on this whole being okay with receiving help, because, like I said, I've had issues with receiving help my whole life. I never wanted to. I always felt like a burden. In the last couple of years, I have gotten better at asking for help and receiving help. But here's the thing: is the universe is always going to throw you the same lessons until you learn from them, okay? And the universe never wants you to, it's not doing it to spite you. It's not doing it to make you to, like, what's the word I'm looking, punish you in any sense. It's doing it for you to grow from, okay? And so it'll send you the same tests over and over again. And although it's sent me opportunities in the past, in the last year or so, where I've had to ask for help, um, and I have, but here's the thing: when I've asked for help in the past, once I've received it, I receive it from this energy of shame. And I feel guilty about receiving this help. And although whoever's helping me is more than happy to help me, I still receive it with this sense of shame and this sense of guilt. And like, I could be doing better, or my worthiness, and so on and so forth. Okay. So again, in the last times I've been tested in this whole scenario of receiving help, I haven't, although I've received the help and taken that step, I've received it in this negative energy of shame or guilt. And so I saw this whole thing playing out, and I was like, this is my opportunity to fucking just surrender and receive this help, and know that it is all coming from a good place, and that I am completely worthy of receiving this help, and not expecting anything from me from it. It is literally just me receiving. And so I knew this going into the whole process. And so I was even more aware of every time that little voice came up to try and pull me otherwise, or make me feel shame, or make me feel guilty. I was like, no, not doing it. So anyway, so I've my whole apartment packed up. I have my bags by the door. And I just take a picture of what I have, right? I just take a picture of what I have and I send it to Louisa, and I'm just like, okay, so I'm all packed up, just double checking this is all my shit. Is that okay? I can potentially leave some stuff here in this apartment, or in this with this landlord, and collect it at a later date. But I just want to double check with you, right? And again, like I said, the universe gives you these tests. It gives you these scenarios for you to work through, but it makes it easy for you. Like the toughest part of going through these tests and working through these scenarios, it's not the actual event itself that you have to work through. It's the fucking battle that you have with yourself through the process. That's the challenging part. And so, for example, I sent the text and straight away Louise is like, oh my God, I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed that you have so little. Fuck, I should really probably declutter my life. And it was just this instant, like, not a worry. Like, she was actually thought I would have more stuff. She was so much more open to me coming with more stuff. She didn't expect me to have a certain amount of things. It was just a complete, like, literally within seconds, that little weight lifted off my shoulders, completely brought me back down to earth, and just grounded me again. And it's so beautiful. And because, and again, going back to relationships and friendships and the connections that you build, we are on such a deeper level of connections and communication that I was able to be like, as soon as I sent that, or as soon as I got that reply, I was like, look, to be honest, like, straight up, I'm not good with receiving help. And so I'm kind of feeling like a little bit of a burden. and I feel like I'm being tested in this area. And she was like, oh, I know. She was like, I know. And she was like, but I also think I'm being tested in offering help. And she was like, it's a fucking privilege for me to be able to have a place that I can offer to a friend who needs a hand. And again, she just quenched any doubt or any worry or any shame or guilt that I was holding, and so easily and so effortlessly. Um, and like each time something like this happened, I just like giggled to myself because I was like, I see it. Okay, I get it. I'm the one. It's my inner voice that I like. That's the challenging part, not the actual external events that are happening. So anyway, then I moved to Louise's house, and again, as soon as I showed up, her and her boyfriend come down. They carry all my shit up to the apartment. They are just so welcoming. They made me feel right at home. And she's showing me her beautiful apartment, and her apartment it's fucking beautiful. It's just magical. And she's got all these comforts and things that are just super convenient that I didn't even realize I needed in my life. Like she has this might not be a big deal, but she has like iPhone chargers by the beds. Phone chargers by the beds. They're always there. And I was like, oh my God, this is so convenient, because I'd always get into bed and be like, oh, fuck's sake, I need my charger. And you get up and you're looking for your charger, and who fucking knows where it is. And it's just constantly moving around the place. But no, these ones are by the bed. They're there. They stay there. They don't get moved. And so you never just have to worry about that. She's got Alexa that like turns on all the lights and plays music. And like all these sensory lights, so everywhere you walk, like it just lights up as you walk. It's just beautiful. The apartment is fucking gorgeous. And she welcomed me into it. And even when she was like showing me around, again, it was very comforting, because I was like, just surrender and just accept this and just enjoy it. And just know that this is a safe space, which I know I never had like doubts about that or anything like that. But just that feeling of like being, especially when they're packing for a long trip, I was like, oh God, I don't want to get in the way. Anyway, so she's showing me the apartment, and she's just showing me all these little nooks and the little secret things to the apartments and the things you need to know and all of that. And again, I was able to like pause and zoom out and just be like, I can see the joy that she's having in showing me her little sanctuary, because I know I've been in situations like that before myself, and I love it when I have my own little space. Like when I've had apartments in the past and I've had people come over to visit, I'm like, oh my God, look at this and look at this. And I love showing people my little space that I've created, my sacred sanctuary that I have put all my little magical touches on. Yes, of course I invite you in. I want to show you all of it. And she also reminded me a lot of my sister, who also loves hosting people and having people over and just having all these little tiny little details to just make somebody feel that little extra bit like comforted and all of that. And I know when I see my sister doing all this, like, and maybe she might do a little bit too much over her needs, but it lights her the fuck up. And it brings me so much joy to see the joy that it brings her. And so even in this situation, I was able to stand back and I was like I can see the joy that she's getting from showing me her apartment, and from telling me all the little things. And I fucking loved it. And again, it was just more confirmation that this is like, just bask in this, surrender, accept the help, like accept, receive without the need to feel that I have to repay the favor or give back in some sort of way. And so I did. And again, here's the thing, it's different energy, because I could have come in here and I could have taken, and an old version of me would have acted this way, but I could have come in here and taken this apartment for the week, and just felt like a fucking bag of shit and a little, pity, like, not a victim, what am I trying to say? But shame or guilt, felt guilty for taking this space and for taking up her space, even though she kindly offered me. But I would sit here and I would feel guilty about it, and I would just overthink everything and blah, blah, blah. And I would just end up spoiling my whole fucking stay here, because I would never feel fully worthy of being allowed to stay here. Old version of me. But new me, I was just like, no, it's just receiving the help, but with a different energy. And knowing that there is no expectations to give back. Am I going to give back? Of fucking course I'm going to return the favor in some way. I'm just out of gratitude, but it's not because I feel like I have to. it's not coming from a place of guilt, but it's coming from a place of just fucking appreciation and gratitude for having these connections in my life. And see, that's the difference. That's the difference between the energies behind all these things that we're either giving or receiving. It'll change everything. It changes everything. So anyway, so I had to go through that process of receiving help. And being so grateful for it, but also just not feeling guilty or shameful or like I'm a burden or that, like, why the fuck can't I just get my shit together kind of scenario, okay? And then, so they flew out on Saturday morning. So I had 2 nights here with them, and then they flew out. And now when my home, my stability, my place is so important to me. I need to feel secure and grounded. And even when I go on a holiday or even when I go home, it takes me a day or two to just fucking ground into the space and to feel safe again in my body. And that's just because I think when my environment changes, I go into my like survival mode, I guess. And my survival mode is very high masculine energy, and just not grounded. And again, this is all stuff I'm learning about myself the more I deepen into all this shit. And so I found myself with the last day of packing and then the 2 days here just being in that energy of like not fully settling. So anyway, they left on Saturday, and then it was my first day in this place. And I really just allowed myself, I was like, look, bro, just fucking have a slot day. Okay? Have a slot day. AKA just no expectations. Just sit the fuck down. Bring your energy back to you. Ground yourself. Recharge, and just refresh. Just let everything that just happened, the chaos of the last week and a half, let that all just like register and then get rid of it. And so I did. I had a little slot day here on Saturday where I just kind of, went out for a little bit of walk and just chilled and had grounded myself into this space. And here's the thing. Again, old version of me would have gone into like a spiral of numbing myself, and not really addressing anything and just feeling guilty for not finding a place in time and feeling sorry for myself and all of these negative emotions. But again, because of the work I've done and how far I've come, I was able to be like, okay, no, we're having a slot day, but like also let's actually like, do a little planning here while we're here, because I'm now able to see, I'm like, there's a reason I'm in this apartment for the next, hopefully, less than 6 days. But there's a reason. Firstly was to learn to receive help, and keep that positive energy of gratitude and appreciation and not fall into the pit of shame and guilt. So it was receiving the help. But secondly, it was an opportunity, and this is how I'm taking it. It is an opportunity for me to use this environment switch up, this brief change of my environment for a week and a half, and use it to my fucking advantage. Because we all know your mind does not know the difference between what's real and what's fake. Okay? And when we are growing, you always hear it like, act like the version of yourself you want to become. Like, act like you already have the fucking thing, and then the things will come to you. Okay? And I'm a firm believer of that because I've seen it time and time again. And so I'm sitting here, I'm like, this apartment is fab. This apartment has so much little convenience and things that I didn't even realize I needed in my life. And I'm not saying I want to have them in my life or all of that, but it's just a level of comfort that I didn't realize that wasn't an option in my mind, I guess. And so I'm using this space as an opportunity to imagine it's mine. Imagine this is my apartment. Like, the care and the love and the energy that is created in this apartment is exactly what I want in my apartment. I'm not saying I want the same aesthetic. I'm not saying I want it to look the same. I'm saying I want my place to have this same feeling. I want people to come into my home and feel that instant safeness, instant warm hug, like instantly comforted. And not just for people who come into my apartment, but for me, that's the space that I want to create. And again, the universe has gifted me, and Louisa has gifted me this beautiful apartment to test that fucking theory out. And so instead of starting around and worrying about, oh my God, where am I going to move to next? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, no, no. We are taking this opportunity to fully embody this next level, this next version of myself, this higher version of myself that has an apartment like this, that can afford all these fucking comforts and conveniences. And I got planning a little embodiment thing of her. So for Saturday, so the last couple of days, and for the duration of my stay here, I am locking in on my morning ritual. Like, my morning ritual is something that just fucking lights me the fuck up, regardless. But I have now a setup so that I wake up in the morning, I listen to my embodiment activation. Basically, it's like my future self is calling me. And she's just letting me know how we're going to be feeling today, what the energy we're bringing, who the fuck we are, and not to get blinded by all the old narratives and old beliefs and old conditionings. And I wake up and I literally, it's like sticking a USB stick into me and downloading the energy of my higher self. And then I wake up and I walk through this house like it's mine, like this apartment like it's mine. I have a beautiful coffee. I sit out in the balcony. I listen to the birds. I do my yoga. Not meditation, and I'm just fully embodying that this is mine, that this is, I can definitely own all of this and create a space just like this. And it's been fucking bliss. And this is literally why I've been giving this apartment. I know for a fact. It's for me to help get my nervous system and my mind and my subconscious into the belief that this can be mine, and to feel safe this being mine. Because here's the thing, you can know how to do all the things, you can have all the fucking answers, you can have a step-by-step guide to what you're doing, you could be doing the things, right? But if you're not regulating your nervous system, and if you are not creating the safety in your body is constantly going to feel like you're being chased by a tiger. Because we've got to remember, just like our subconscious mind is playing programs from our past, our childhood, so is your body. Your body is storing old trauma. And so if you've ever felt like you were unworthy of holding a large sum of money, or unworthy of having your own apartment and having your own business and supporting yourself, like all these fucking conditionings and ideas that have been put on us, like if your body ever stored trauma around areas like that, it's going to, when you start doing that thing, it's going to feel unfamiliar. And to our bodies, unfamiliar is a threat. Even though it could be the most incredible, amazing experience, if it's unfamiliar to us, our body is going to register that as a threat. And therefore, your body goes into survival mode and it goes into a state of fight or flight. And so that's why you could be doing all the things. And I've spoken to clients that are like, I'm doing all the things. Life is great. The business is booming. I'm making money. I'm feeling secure. But why the fuck do I constantly feel like something's about to give? Like the shit's about to hit the fan. Like I'm constantly waiting for something to go wrong. And that is because your nervous system still thinks you are being chased by a tiger. Because you're not taking the time to stop and slow down and come into your body and be like, you're safe. We are safe. You don't need, there's no need to stress out. And no judgment, because the majority of us think this is a normal feeling. So we're not even aware that our body is feeling this stress. We're not even aware that our body is tensing up and going through all these emotions, because it's become so normalized and normal to us that we don't know any different. But again, when you learn to regulate your nervous system and you better the relationship with yourself, because your self-talk is the one thing that will regulate your nervous system by 70 to 80%. So just that alone. Also, just slowing the fuck down also really helps regulate your nervous system. So anyway, when you can regulate your nervous system, and when you can create that safety in your body, and then when you can also then get ready for the future that you're calling in, embodying that next level version of yourself, you're training your body to feel safe with these next steps. You're training your body to feel safe with money coming in. You're training your body to feel safe with an apartment coming in, or your business taking off and your client list building, or whatever it is. You're planning for that, and so you're creating that safety, and you're expanding your capacity of your nervous system, which will then, when you push past that fear and when you take that next step, you're going to be able to take it a lot easier without those self-sabotaging behaviors coming in, because your body is now semi-familiar to what you're about to do. And yeah, and so that's what I'm doing now. I'm in this little apartment. I am waiting on my future apartment to get back to me. I know it's mine. I know this apartment is mine, the one that I'm looking at. And I know this because if you heard all the stories about all the apartments that I've gotten in the last couple of years, they're all fucking wacky stories. They're crazy how they've all landed in my lap, and they've always been last fucking minute. But they've always worked out. And as soon as I saw this apartment, I walked in, there were signs outside it, and I was like, this is my apartment. And I'm so confident in that, even though the landlord wants a ridiculous amount of rent that I cannot afford. But I know I can sweet talk her and get it down. Again, this is all just testing me responding to this from a place of confidence and overflow, rather than a place of panic and pity. Not pity, what's the word I'm looking for? Pathetic? No. Panic and... what's the word I'm looking for? P. Oh my God, what's the word? This is going to fucking do my head in. I can't end this podcast until I figure out this word. Oh fuck, I sent a text with the word in it the other day. Panic and... desperation. That's the fucking word. It wasn't P, it was D. This is a whole test for me to respond from a place of confidence and overflow, rather than panic and desperation of like, please, I need the apartment. No. You need me as a tenant just as much as I need you as a landlord. So let's meet in the middle ground. That's the energy I'm bringing to this. And so I've even like deleted the app for other apartments. I'm not even looking at other apartments. I'm not setting up any viewings. I have demanded an answer by the end of the day. So if I don't get it by the end of the day, then we'll go back to the drawing board. But I have this confidence in myself and this knowing, because I have a fucking boatload of evidence that this shit works. And that's all I need. And I've just got this insane trust and belief in myself. And I see all these little tests and I'm like, yes, let's fucking pass them. So yeah, that's my little update about receiving help. I will go into the next episode on how I've been like just dealing with the stress and being able to move through it, and still being able to manage to wake up and have such a fucking joy and day full of joy and excitement, and not letting it get to me, and how you can fucking implement this into your life in the simplest little ways and just start adding those little sprinkles of joy, because fuck me, they make all the difference. So yeah, let me know if this made sense on like the whole receiving of help, and if you've got any questions on receiving help, or maybe how you feel when you receive help. Just main thing, zoom the fuck out. Receiving help, asking for help is not a weakness. It's a fucking strength. It is a strength to be able to admit that you need help. Okay? That's number one thing. Society and all of this has cultivated this narrative that asking for help is a weakness, because they don't want you asking people for help, because they want to keep us isolated. And they want to keep us dealing with our problems on our own, because when we do that, what happens? We end up going to fucking shops and stuff and consuming what we need to help us. We end up buying stuff to help us, aka they make money off us. That's why there's this narrative that it's a weakness. Think about it. Asking for help is actually a strength, and being able to have the privilege of fucking having people in your life that can help you and that you can actually go to for help is another huge privilege in life. So remember that the next time you are in a pickle and you need help, how fucking lucky it is, number one, that you have people that you can lean on, that you actually have people that you can call that will help you. And number two, it's a fucking strength. And when you ask for help, you are also not just asking for help for yourself, but you are showing anybody around you, your kids, your family, your friends, the person you are fucking asking help of, that it is okay and it is normal to ask for help. And the better you can go into these situations, the more you are showing that to other people, that it is okay for them to ask for help. And then on the receiving end, remember how fucking good it is to feel. Does that make sense? Remember how good it is. Remember how good it feels when you give help, when you offer help to someone. Like, it's a fucking privilege to be able to have the means and the things to be able to put a hand out and help somebody that you love, that you care for in a time of need. Like, it lights you the fuck up, because guess what? That's what being human is about. And that's what we want to do as humans. That is, when you are a heart-driven human being, heart-led human being, you want to give back. You want to help people. We come from a fucking tribe. This is ingrained in us to give and to help others. So it's in our fucking nature. We want to do it. It's a gift to do it, and it's a gift to fucking receive it, and it's a gift to give it. So just remember that. Remember that when you do find yourself in a pickle, zoom out and just switch shoes for a second, switch places, and be like, okay, if this person was in my position, would I help them? Of fucking course I would, you know? So yeah. I hope you got some value from that place. Oh my God, my brain. Diet brain. I'm 2.5 weeks out from photo shoot. So yeah, words and stuff. But yeah, I hope you got something from that episode. I would love to hear your feedback and all of that. If you have any questions for me, or whatever. If you want to work with me, I will drop a link to book a free alignment call with me, and we can just have a little chat and see if it's something you want to work with. I coach women through everything that I've just kind of talked through, but just building that better relationship with yourself, working on your mindset, fucking crushing those limiting beliefs that are holding you back, and learning to regulate and expand your capacity in your nervous system so that you can both feel safe in your body, feel fucking happy in your mind, and love the fucking person you are, and wake up every day and feel excited. Like, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't fucking want that? Come on, seriously. Anyway, yeah. Join me next week for part 2 where I speak more about my situation. Okay, bye. Love you. Oh, thanks so much for taking the time to dive into my brain with me. If any of this resonated with you, I would love to hear your thoughts. DM me, share it with a friend, like, subscribe, leave a review. Do all those juicy little things that help me reach more beautiful souls. And remember, you are chaotically beautiful, and that's all you ever need to be. I love you, I'm proud of you, and until next time, keep shining and stay rosy.